A woman sold her body to her boss for $150,000 for one night. However, after that night, John found himself completely hooked and unable to break free. Sarah immediately used the money to pay for her son's surgery. Fortunately, her son's surgery went smoothly. But just as everything seemed to be heading in the right direction, John told her she needed to accompany him on a business trip abroad. Although she desperately wanted to stay with her son, she had no choice but to board the plane to make ends meet. On the plane, all she could think about was her son, while John kept trying to figure her out, wanting to know what kind of person she was. Sarah had no interest in engaging with him and only discussed work-related matters. Thanks to Sarah's professional skills, the project was successfully signed. John noticed it was still early and invited Sarah for drinks to celebrate, but she flatly refused. Her behavior left John completely puzzled, so he directly offered $100,000 for Sarah to spend another night with him, but she angrily turned and walked away. John was confused. Why was the first time okay, but not now? At that moment, Sarah had already packed her bags, planning to fly back home alone. John rushed forward to stop her, apologizing for his earlier words. He mentioned there were no more flights available. He asked Sarah to stay and fly back together tomorrow. On the return flight, John couldn't help but ask, "Why did you agree the first time?" But Sarah remained tight-lipped. As soon as they landed, Sarah grabbed her luggage and rushed to the hospital. Her son was doing pretty well at that time. The doctor came over and said the surgery was very successful. The bone marrow showed no signs of rejection. Sarah was so happy she hugged her mother. As long as her son could recover, everything she did was worth it. Meanwhile, John sat in his office, picking up his phone wanting to call Sarah, but he didn't know what to say. A friend came over and mentioned a children's charity event, asking John to join. John immediately agreed, because whenever he had free time, he would think about Sarah. However, the event location happened to be at the hospital where Sarah was. At that moment, John and the group arrived at the hospital. The hospital director walked alongside them, explaining about leukemia. He shared a case study. Recently, a boy fell ill, but he was from a single-parent household. His mother simply couldn't afford the expensive surgery costs. But at the last moment, she came up with the life-saving $150,000, and that single mother was right there. John looked in that direction and saw the woman he'd been longing for. In that moment, he finally understood everything.